Good evening, everyone. This is your evening news recap, your nightly news podcast on all the news that I come across throughout the day, giving you my take as somebody who aspires to be a politician in the near future. Hopefully, all you guys are doing wonderful. It's been, an interesting day for me, but it is the weekend, so hopefully, everyone is having a wonderful weekend. Happy Saturday, everyone. It's been an interesting day. It definitely has. I haven't done much. I can't say that I've done much. I've just did my daily walk, worked on the news, and that's about it. But we're having a good one. So yeah, hopefully all you guys are doing well as well. Let's get into the news. I don't know why I'm struggling to start this. Moving into the Trump administration segment, the first topic we have today is anti-Trump demonstrations broke out today all across Scotland. Anti-Trump protests took place in Scotland on Saturday as Trump took a visit to the country centered around visits to his golf courses. Meetings with the British Prime Minister and European Commission President are also planned. Trump landed in Glasgow Prestwick Airport just before 8:30 p.m. BST on Friday, where he was greeted by the Scottish Secretary Ian Murray. And on Sunday, protests took place in Edinburgh, Aberdeen, and Dumfries, with photographs shared on Twitter of signs reading "Stop Trump, Free Gaza," and "Pipe Down Trump." I love that sign, like "Pipe Down Trump." Like, something about that just is hilarious to me. Anyways, I love that around the world people stand up to Trump. I'm glad that he knows people around the world don't like him because he should know. I mean, fuck Trump. Truly, he's a bitch. He's ugly. He's so ugly. And he stinks. I mean, let's not forget that there are videos of him shitting on national television in like events and stuff. I mean, he should know that he isn't supported by the masses of the world because he is a problem. I mean, he's destroyed one of the key ways that the United States has treated its allies in Europe on so many levels. It is not a surprise that Trump has received protests in Europe because he's backing away from them when the United States has been a huge part of their alliances. I mean, he's treating our allies horribly. I would hope they're protesting him as well. Moving on in other news, Trump compared Obama to O.J. Simpson and also trolled J.D. Vance. In a post on True Social, Trump posted a classic O.J. Simpson police picture, but it was a little different. Rather than O.J., it was a cutout image of Obama's head on the driver's side. Following that were two police cars with two other head cutouts, one of them being Trump smiling, and the other being the classic J.D. Vance meme that has polarized the internet. The one where he's like a little chubby, has like the perm, big long hair, and all of that. That meme, it's quite funny to say the least. This is genuinely hilarious because either Trump didn't realize or Vance is being made fun of because of this meme in the White House. I mean, I don't even know if Trump makes his posts. I'm sure he writes like the tweets and the posts with the words, but I feel like the images aren't done by him. So I really do hope that this was made by an intern and posted by Trump. I think that would be so hilarious. I guarantee you there's at least one intern in there that absolutely hates Trump and it would be willing to do something like that. And I hope that's the case. I really, really do. In other news, senior CIA officials have called out Tulsi Gabbard for lying. A former CIA official who helped oversee the investigation into Russia interfering with the 2016 election says that Tulsi Gabbard and the White House are lying when they say it was an attempt to sabotage Trump. Susan Miller, a retired CIA officer who helps lead the team and produce a report of the investigation, told NBC that it was based on credible information that showed um, that Moscow sought to help Trump win the election. Holy. But there was no signs for conspiracy from the Kremlin with his campaign. Conspiracy, not conspiracy, sorry. With his campaign. That word is very similar. Miller said, "The director of national intelligence and the White House are lying again. We definitively have intel to show that the high probability that there was a specific goal of the Russians was to get Trump elected." Miller says Trump and his followers have a script to follow despite the facts that we actually have. We all know this wasn't the case, but hey, more proof doesn't really hurt at the end of the day. I can't wait to see Trump lose all of his support. That will be truly a glorious day. I want to see him witness his downfall before he goes because he truly deserves it. He really does. I hope he gets to go to prison before anything at all. I can't wait to see that man get torn apart, whether that's through the media, whether that's through anything really. I mean, he deserves to be destroyed. He really does. Just as he destroys our country day after day. In other news, Trump says Thailand and Cambodia have agreed to hold ceasefire talks. In two posts on Truth Social, Trump has announced ceasefire talks between Cambodia and Thailand. The first post with Thailand reads, I have spoken to the acting prime minister of Thailand, and it was a very good conversation. Thailand, like Cambodia, wants to have immediate ceasefire and peace. I am now going to relay that message back to the prime minister of Cambodia. After speaking to both parties, ceasefire, peace, and prosperity seems to be a natural. We will soon see. In the next post, he announced Cambodia had also agreed to do the same. He said, I just had a very good call with the Prime Minister of Cambodia and informed him of my discussions with Thailand and its acting Prime Minister. Both parties are looking for an immediate ceasefire and peace. They are also looking to get back to the trading table with the United States, which we think is appropriate to do until such time as fighting stops. They have agreed to immediately meet and quickly work out a ceasefire and ultimate peace. It was an honor to deal with both countries. They have a long and storied history and culture. They will hopefully get along for many years to come. Well, all is done. Peace is at hand. I look forward to concluding our trading agreements with both. This is good news overall. It's been an interesting conflict because it really hasn't been covered. Granted, historically, it's been a conflict for a long time, so it's not surprising that these two decided to battle it out again. And I wouldn't be shocked if we saw something like that in the future. I feel like, the information on this overall has been really slim, though. There hasn't been really any coverage on it, especially online. I haven't really seen any coverage about it at all, which is kind of odd, but it happens. It really does. I don't know why a global conflict is being covered up. If it is being covered up, especially from third world Asian countries, you don't really hear a lot about what's going on there, which isn't the greatest thing. Especially in Myanmar, we don't know a lot about what's going on there, which is kind of terrifying. But hopefully we can at least get peace between these two countries because it is important that there is peace. It truly is. I know border disputes truly never ends, but hopefully they can figure something out because peace should happen. It really should. In other news, moving on into the Trump and Epstein segment, we have one topic to cover today, as there hasn't really been much going on, but we still have something because there's always something. Democrats have requested a copy of the birthday book. Of course, the birthday book is the book that contained all of the letters that were sent to Epstein for his birthday, including the one that Trump sent. House Democrats have sent a letter to lawyers of Jeffrey Epstein requesting a copy of the birthday book that included Trump's letter and picture. In the letter, California lawmakers Ro Kahana, and Robert Garcia said the contents of the book may be essential to congressional oversight, and they asked for a complete and unredacted copy of the book by August 10th. Kahana said that the public deserves to know the truth, and the survivors and their family deserve justice. Good. This should be released to the public, and not just Trump's letter either. It should be the whole book. We need to know who are Epstein's closest so they can be not only deplatformed, but prosecuted and put to jail. I don't care who you are. If you touch kids, you should be in jail. These letters need to be released, and the writers of said letters should be in prison. ASAP. Moving on to the ICE segment, we also have one topic here today as ICE is targeting LA homeless shelters. ICE officials have been repeatedly spotted outside of Hollywood homeless shelters since May, which led to staff accompanying residents to work, errands, or court. An executive from the shelters that serves people 18 to 24 said that she saw two Venezuelan men handcuffed and arrested after they returned to the shelter from work. The shelter appears to be another one of the lists of targets by the administration, which has made 3,000 arrests in the LA area. This is sick. I mean, it is so crazy that ICE has to prey on people in order to get anything done. The organization is so clearly unsuccessful. It is genuinely pitiful and a waste of taxpayer dollars. Thing needs to be shut down because they're a problem. So are their facilities. They are actively committing human rights violations. They are actively, essentially, bounty hunting people. Not to mention, they are staking people out just to arrest them. It is fucked up on another level and they need to be removed. Genuinely. Moving on to the other news segment tonight, we have three topics about. The first one being that the UK, Germany, and France have publicly condemned Israel. The UK, Germany, and France are calling for immediate ceasefire in Gaza and unconditional release of all hostages after the three countries held an emergency call to discuss the humanitarian crisis and ongoing war. The country said in a joint statement, the humanitarian catastrophe that we are witnessing in Gaza must end now. The most basic needs of civilian population, including access to water and food, must be met without further delay. Withholding essential humanitarian assistance to the civilian population is unacceptable. These countries have called for a withdrawal of Israeli forces from Gaza and the removal of Hamas leadership. This is big for the Western world, as Western nations condemning Israel is kind of unheard of for the most part. I mean, there should be global sanctions on Israel for this war in Gaza if it does not stop, and if Netanyahu is not removed from office, because it is very clear that he is a problem. Gaza needs to be freed, their people need to be helped, and Israel needs a regime change. It is so clear that they are causing so many problems throughout the world, and it needs to stop. It genuinely does. And Israel also should be a state where people are free to believe in their own religion. I mean, I talk about that a little bit more in the next topic, but genuinely, any country around the world should be freedom of religion. As an American, I believe that anywhere in the world should have the freedom of religion because that's what we have here. We have a free state of religion, and that should be the case everywhere else. Nobody should have to be attacked just because they believe in what best suits them. That is messed up on another level. In other news, the mass starvation crisis has grown in Gaza. After 4 months of total siege by Israel, Gaza's few remaining hospitals have wards growing in numbers for malnourished children. Doctors are hungry to a point where they have dizzy spells doing their rounds, and journalists documenting their caseloads say they are often too weak to even walk to clinics. Nearly 1 in 3 people are going multiple days without eating, and hospitals are reporting a rise in deaths because of it. On Wednesday, the Gaza Health Ministry said 10 people died of starvation in 24 hours, and the total number since the war started is 111. That number is only going up. The genocide in Gaza needs to stop. Israeli forces are killing innocent people who only seek freedom of practicing their own religion, and that's not okay. Every country in the world should have the freedom of religion, including Israel. It should be a human right to believe in what best suits you, and the fact that in 2025 that is still a problem in itself is crazy. It really is. It's not okay, and it needs to be solved. Free Palestine. In other news, the final topic for tonight, as there has been a mass stabbing event in Michigan. Multiple people were stabbed at a Walmart in Traverse City, Michigan. The suspect is in custody, according to authorities. Winston Healthcare said on social media that 11 people were being treated at the largest hospital in northern Michigan. The state police said that the local sheriff's office was investigating the incident. The incident happened at a Walmart, and Walmart has announced that they will be working with authorities to help solve the case. I hope everyone who was injured in this situation is able to recover because this is horrible. I feel like we have so many more attacks, during this administration than we had before, and maybe it's just because I read the news a lot more now. But it is honestly wild how much violence there is in this country, and it needs to stop. I think, it's kind of our thing, in this country that Americans are violent and it really shouldn't be. I think it's a bad look overall, and we should be working to stop it, especially gun violence. So many people are dying because of gun violence, especially in schools. I mean, school shootings are so common in this country, and it's not okay. It shouldn't be. It's the fact that we are working to protect pedophiles in Congress over protecting our children in schools is absolutely disgusting. And that shouldn't be the case. It really shouldn't be. But with that being said, hopefully all of you guys enjoyed today's episode. It's been an interesting day overall, but I hope you all enjoyed. If you're on YouTube, please consider subscribing, dropping a like, and dropping a comment down below. We're on our way to 500 subscribers, and I would love to hit that as soon as possible. So help me get there. It would be really cool. If you're on Substack, please consider pledging your support. All funds go to me. They'll help me pay for the things that I'll need to pay for in college, like clothing and food and all those kinds of things. But if not, you can always subscribe for free. I do believe I also said pledging. That's not a thing anymore. You can also subscribe, not pledge. So do that. It would be really cool. I would really appreciate it. It would mean the world to me if you subscribed and showed your support. It is $8 a month. So yeah, if you can afford it, do it. I will never charge for news content though. So if you want news for free, subscribe. It's really cool if you do that. With that being said, thank you everyone for watching this video. Hopefully you all enjoyed, and I will see you all in tomorrow's episode. Later.